Hello everyone, welcome to Everything Arsenal. Very late video today. It's literally 2 a.m. But I was out celebrating my birthday. But I was keeping up with the news and a lot to discuss today, including the latest on Mikel, Merino, including the latest on Fabio Vieira just popped out of nowhere, Nico Williams, Ramsdale as well, and lastly Charlie Patino. So let's get straight into it. It's 2 a.m. I'm literally so tired, but let's get into it. So Mikel Merino arrived in London earlier today for his Arsenal medical. So this one is pretty much done. He should be. Listen, he's not going to have a training session between now and the Aston Villa game. Obviously, I don't think he's even going to make the Aston Villa game, but we're expecting his debut next week against Brighton. This one is pretty much done. He will undergo his medical on Saturday, and then hopefully before the weekend ends, we will hear Arsenal announcing him. Yeah, this will be a third official signing of the transfer window, and hopefully more to come. This was Merino saying goodbye to his Sociedad buddies over in Spain before he boarded a plane to London. But now he is in London. He will undergo his medical on Saturday. I cannot wait for him to finally be announced as an Arsenal player. We've had to wait for that one. We've had to wait for that one a long time, but it's finally done. So Fabio Vieira. We thought Merino was going to come in and replace Smith Rowe, but it's looking like it's going to be Fabio Vieira, one of the players that is going to lose out. As reported, Fabio Vieira is on his way to FC Porto on loan. Remember, he joined us. When was it? Was it 2 years ago? Yeah, it was 2 years ago. He joined us. This is his third season at Arsenal, so he joined us back in 2022. Same transfer window as the likes of Gabriel Jesus. His first season was okay. Second season basically didn't see him for almost the entire season. So yeah, it has come as a surprise though, and there's talk about him obviously leaving because Merino is now going to play like in the number 8 position, and that is one of the positions that Fabio Vieira is going to or would have played, but is not going to play now because he is leaving. It has come out of nowhere. This is what has been reported by David Onstein. FC Porto agreed deal to resign Fabio Vieira on loan from Arsenal. Not in Arsenal scored for Aston Villa as FC Porto finalized move to bring midfielder back after 2022 sale. Merino arrival plus Nwaneri rise reduces minutes, and 24-year-old needs regular action. So as David Onstein has said, Merino has arrived now. I thought you're going to have Merino and Fabio Vieira, but I'm thinking we're going to get another player as well, surely, in those positions. So I don't know who it's going to be, but right now, we don't really have a backup for Odegaard. We don't really have a backup for Saka unless we use the ones we have. So maybe use Nwaneri as a backup for Odegaard, and we use Gabriel Jesus as a backup for Fabio Vieira. I don't know if that is going to, not for Fabio Vieira, for Bukayo Saka on the right side. I don't know if that is going to be the case. But Fabio Vieira, he is leaving. He's going back to FC Porto on loan. It has come out of nowhere, and this is what David Onstein had to say on the article. Vieira joined Aston from the 30-time Portuguese champions in July of 2022 for a fee of around 34.2 million, and is under contract until 2027. The Portugal youth international made 22 Premier League appearances during his debut season, but has struggled to establish himself as a first-team regular. With Mikel Merino arriving from Real Sociedad and Highland graduate Ethan Nwaneri emerging, Vieira's opportunities will be limited at the Emirates Stadium, and a temporary switch should ensure consistent game time. The 24-year-old will not be part of Mikel Arteta's squad for the visit to Aston Villa. Vieira featured in 15 matches across all competitions for Arsenal in 2023-2024 campaign, scoring once and adding 3 assists. Despite returning from groin surgery in February, he managed only 57 top-flight minutes and was an unused sub in 14 of Arsenal's 17 last 17 fixtures as they came second to Man City. The last time Vieira started for Arsenal was in the Carabao Cup last November. He figured during Arsenal's preseason schedule, but was not involved in their opening weekend victory over Wolves. Vieira began his playing career at Porto, having progressed through the academy. His senior bow arrived in 2020, and Vieira went on to record 10 goals and 18 assists in 76 games. He has represented Portugal from under 18 to under 21 level, but is yet to earn a senior cap. So a lot to break down there, including let's start with the money. Obviously, we signed him for 34.2 million. It hasn't worked up until now. It hasn't worked. The 2 years, he still has a contract to 2027, so 3 years remaining on his contract. But as of now, it hasn't worked for sure. The first season, as he said, he was okay. He scored a couple of goals. Remember his goal against Brentford, and you're like, wow, that day Odegaard didn't play. The day we went to Brentford and won 3-0, Odegaard didn't play. Fabio Vieira started in that position, and he played really well, and everyone's excited. And people are like, we're getting the Fabio Vieira from FC Porto, but it never really worked out after that, especially last season. Last season, I predicted Fabio Vieira to be the most surprising player for us. That's how confident I was in him last season. And he started the season well. He started the season with a good performance against Everton. He got an assist against Man United for Jesus. I think he got another assist against Fulham for Nketiah early in the season. The first 4 games of the season, he was really good. And I was like, this guy, maybe this is his season. But after that, he was on the bench, and then he picked up a red card when he started the game. He didn't even start that game. He picked up a red card, and then he had an injury for a few months, and then he was back in February. Remember, he returned when you're about to face FC Porto, his old team. And we were thinking maybe he's going to get opportunities between that time and the end of the season. But as David Onstina said, he literally was an unused sub for 14 of the last 17 Premier League games. That means he was not in Arteta's plans. Like there was 6, 7 other players who were coming in before him in those tough games, or he needed a goal, or he needed a bit of creativity. Fabio Vieira was never really looked at. Even games like Bayern Munich, where we needed some creativity to try and score a goal, Fabio Vieira was never really looked at. So that shows he was not in the manager's plans, or the manager never really trusted him. So unfortunately, doesn't seem like he was going to get an opportunity this season as well. Although Arteta did say that he's been happy with Fabio Vieira in training. That was like a month ago. So it doesn't seem like he was happy enough to keep him. He's now going out on loan. So this one is going to go either 2 ways. Either he goes there, and if he does well, we bring him back for next season, or either he goes there and he does very well and FC Porto want to buy him back. There's no buy option or buy obligation in that contract, that loan deal. He's definitely going to come back next season. So if they want to sign him, they have to work another deal to try and sign him. So let's see how that one is going to go. But we're expecting him to come back next season. Let's hope he gets a bit of playing time over there, and then we see how he does over in Portugal. But the other thing is, even if he does good in Portugal, will people really trust him to come back and do the same in England? I don't know. But yeah, Fabio Vieira is leaving Arsenal on loan, as reported here as well by Fabrizio Romano. The agreement between FC Porto and Arsenal for Fabio Vieira is on straight loan. No buy option clause. Vieira deal expected to be approved if FC Porto sell. Consensus with Juventus still in negotiation. So all the best to Fabio Vieira. We are into the last week of the transfer window, and we could have 4 players leaving, because I didn't expect Fabio Vieira to leave. I thought he's definitely going to stay. Now we're into the last week. We haven't had anything. I saw someone saying Fabio Vieira came to Arsenal silently. His Arsenal career has been silent, and he's left silently, which is sadly true. Like the transfer came out of nowhere. Fabio Vieira joining us, so it came out of nowhere. We literally had a here we go before we ever had any news about Arsenal wanting Vieira. Him leaving, it has come out of nowhere as well, and his playing career at Arsenal, he basically hasn't lit up the place, so we haven't really seen him at Arsenal as well. So yeah, everything has been quiet about his Arsenal career so far. But let's see how he does, how he performs over at FC Porto, and then we see what happens after that. Nico Williams. I talked about Nico Williams yesterday. A lot of people are saying, nah, this cannot be true. Personally, myself, as I've always said, I've never expected Nico Williams to join Arsenal. When I heard that Aston was still in for Nico Williams yesterday, I was very surprised. But from yesterday, there's 3 or 4 more journalists and more credible journalists who have talked about it and actually said, yes, this could actually happen, including Miguel Delaney, who says Arsenal are weighing up a move for Nico Williams in the last week of the window. There's an awareness his preference is to stay in Spain. If they can't get him, they'll likely drop down to a lower target. Arsenal only go big for specific names. So this is an interesting one, man. This guy's just gotten a new number at Bilbao. I think he's been given the number 10 or something. So after that happened, I never really thought he was going to leave at all. But usually, again, I saw someone saying this, which is very true. Usually when a player says no to Arsenal usually move on very quickly. We don't usually chase a player who doesn't want to join Arsenal. That has happened a lot of times over the last 4 years with Edu and Arteta. The moment a player says, I'm not really sure about Arsenal, we move on from that very quickly. Zubimendi is an example, and a couple of other players over the years. But for Nico Williams, we've not really moved away from it. He's never really said no to Arsenal. And the fact that we are still chasing, the fact that we're still looking for him at the end of the transfer window with 1 week to go, when we know we need forward players, that kind of shows us that, yeah, there's still a chance that could happen. And Edu and Arteta believe that there's still a chance that could happen. So this will be one to keep an eye on for sure. He has a release clause. He had a release clause. I don't know if it was expired, but he did have a release clause of around 40 to 50 million. I don't know if that is the case. I don't know if that is the same money that we'll need to pay. I think that is the same money that we'll need to pay. But the trouble with this one is that Nico Williams would have to want to come to Arsenal, and Yeah, the wages as well will have to pay him 250,000 plus in terms of the wages. So the fact that you're still looking at him, he's still there. He's still in the news. He's come back to the news. As Charles Watt said yesterday, he's never actually left the news. And Timmy's and Tick said Arsenal are still trying to sign Nico Williams. As of yet, the player has not said no to Arsenal. So those are a lot of credible outlets that are saying Arsenal are still being linked to Nico Williams. We thought it was dead, this deal, but it looks like it's not dead. Let's see how this one develops between now and the end of the transfer window, because it would be a big deal if he gets Nico Williams. It would be an absolutely big deal. So you've already gotten his teammate at Aston. Let's see if we can bring him too from Spain. But yeah, we expected a lot of deals between now and the transfer window ending. So as we've said, Fabio Vieira, Nketiah, Nelson, Ramsdale, all four of them could leave Arsenal in the final week, and then we could have Merino being announced. We could have Nico Williams, and let's see who else we will sign. By the way, at the time of recording, Gyökeres has just scored a hat trick for Sporting. By the way, he had 6 goals and I think 3 assists in 4 games. That is 9 goal contributions in 4 games. That is crazy. Like, he's keeping up with the form that he had last season. So is he going to be the striker that you tried to sign, or is he going to be Victor Osimhen? Lukaku has now joined Napoli, so I don't know if Chelsea are going to try to sign Osimhen. Let's see how that one goes as well. Aaron Ramsdale, lost the latest on him. Southampton are in talks with Arsenal over a loan deal for Aaron Ramsdale. The clubs are also discussing potential obligations to buy should Southampton stay up. Wolves remain interested, and Ramsdale is also on the list of goalkeeper targets at Bournemouth. So Southampton are in talks to get him on a loan deal. If they stay up, then they will have obligations to buy him. But if they don't stay up, then that will mean Ramsdale is coming back to Arsenal. I don't think that is what wants to happen. I think Arsenal just want to sell him. I think Arsenal would prefer to just sell him right now for like 30 million and finish up that story. But the problem is there's not too many teams that are going to come and pay that for a goalkeeper right now at the end of the transfer window, especially if they didn't pay to the beginning of the transfer window and all through the transfer window. It's going to be very hard unless someone becomes desperate. Maybe a goalkeeper gets injured, or a goalkeeper gets sold and then a team becomes desperate, then they will try and sign Aaron Ramsdale. But as of now, it doesn't look likely. It means we have to let him go on loan or just straight up keep him. And I don't think Ramsdale wants to stay. If he could have stayed, my thoughts was, keep him until January and then look for how to sell him in January. But the truth is as well, because if he stays here between now and January, he doesn't really play. He wouldn't even play against Brentford, because now Raya can play against Brentford. We could have Ramsdale playing 2 games between now and January if we don't go further in the Carabao Cup. So that will mean his value keeps on dropping and dropping if he's not playing any games. We are being forced to sell him right now, pretty much, or to let him go out on loan and then gamble on him doing well in those teams, keeping Southampton up, and then selling him, or Wolves or Bournemouth, one of them, to buy him. Southampton stepped up interest in Aaron Ramsdale. Club wanted loan for 2.5 million and 80% of wages paid, which doesn't interest Arsenal as it stands. It's thought that Arsenal wants double 5 million plus majority of wages covered. So I don't know if that is a deal that will suit Southampton. But in this situation, in this scenario, I don't think we're the ones who are desperate. Southampton had a goalkeeper who made a mistake last week in the Premier League game against Newcastle. Maybe they're desperate for a goalkeeper, so we're not really the ones who are desperate to sell Ramsdale or to loan out Ramsdale. They're the ones who are desperate to get Ramsdale. Southampton have other keeper options, and it's understood that they are advancing now on a move for Justin Bylow, which could now see their pursuit of Ramsdale end. But as you can see at the bottom of that, there are the goalkeepers that they're being linked to. So if they don't get Aaron Ramsdale, or if they don't feel like the deal for Aaron Ramsdale is suitable for them, they could just go for other goalkeepers. So there is that. But with Nketiah, I've always said there's teams that are going to come in for him. I've always been confident. But for Ramsdale, I've never really been sure, because he's a goalkeeper and we are asking for a lot of money, which is good because Ramsdale is still a very good goalkeeper. You can't sell him for 10 million. I think he is worth around 30 million, 35 million. So let's see what will happen with that. Lastly, on Charlie Patino, we reported about him 2 days ago, but this is what is being reported. Hopefully it is true. Arsenal will keep future control of Charlie Patino after he completes his move to Deportivo La Coruña. Patino is set to move to Spain in a deal worth only £1 million. However, Arsenal have a 50% sell-on clause and will get the choice to match any offer that comes in for the England international in the future. It's seen as a very clever deal by the club despite the low fee. By the way, I didn't realize they didn't have this on screen. I had this instead. But yeah, I guess since it was there by mistake, just follow me on Twitter if you're on Twitter. But yeah, it was supposed to be this one. So if this is actually true, if that we're actually getting a 50% sell-on clause, and if he becomes available, we basically have the chance of getting him fast. That's a good deal. That is a good deal, because 1 million is quite little. If you're getting a 50% sell-on clause, and Arsenal are not interested in him in the future, and Deportivo decide to sell him for 40 million, we get 20 million from that. I think that is fair enough. I'm still very young, so let's hope he does well over at Deportivo, and then if they sell him on, we get some money from that. Or if things work out for him well, and then he's interested to come back to us, so we can buy him after that. Let's see how that one goes. But Charlie Patino, I think that would be a good deal if that is the case. If all that is accurate, that would be a good deal. So that's the latest in terms of the transfer news today. We're expecting a lot more over the weekend. Obviously, we're playing against Aston Villa later on today, and then we could have movements with Nketiah and Fabio Vieira and Aaron Ramsdale and Merino announcement. A lot is going to happen. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch up with you guys on